Hello guys, welcome back to Potence War, and as I like to say in this small-scale wargaming, go big or go home. So this is my 2x2 foot 6mm North Africa or Arabic town. So as you can see, it's quite a large town. I intended it for 6mm crossfire. This is one of my Africa Corps infantry squad in basically 1-to-1 scale, because we play crossfire in 1-to-1 battalion scale. So that's the reason we have these broad streets, so they are big enough to fit in the infantry squad. So all these big streets are done to fit them. Of course, we have also tanks, like this Panzer II, by Butler printed models, and the streets are also big enough to fit the tank in, even the smaller ones. But, of course, it's intended for World War II. There is this few, I would say, modern wargaming buildings, which we'll take a look in a minute. But I also play 6mm antiques, like this Persian commander on chariot. So of course the board is usable also for the ancient wargaming. My whole idea was to make some sort of, I would say, quarters. Yeah, one quarter here, this one here, this mosque with some other buildings, this small compound and buildings. So it would be usable for playing. And we tried to play once crossfire on it and it works great. So that's something with, I think it should be better to base some squads for the city fight on the smaller bases, so they could fit in. And to be honest, I'm sort of intrigued to try to base my 6mm Germans for, or single base them, and try to use this board for the crossfire, not just for crossfire, but also for chain of command or bolt action in small scale, because I think it could be quite fun. All the buildings here are 3D printed, except few which were paid. Almost all is from some free STL, I think from Thingiverse. It's all PLA print, not resin. So to leave the cost at the minimum possible. But anyway, it still significant. It was significant amount because there's lots of buildings here. They are all on this big MDF sheet, and the texture is AK white texture format, the one without any pigment. And after it was painted over with Citadel Contrasts Dune color, and then I used some acrylic painting pen and did these highlights with it, so it sort of pop up from the distance. Even it was just taking the AK gel there and painted with the contrast. It took something like 2 hours just to base the desert here. Not talking about the buildings, which were basically also just contrast, to save some time, but it was still project for a couple hours. I'm not sure how much or how many, but I think it could be something with gluing and texture and painting all this stuff. I think it was something like 15 hours. And to be honest, I think it's not still 100% complete. I think it's tabletop ready, but I think I see some bits which could be added or done better. I also, you can see, glued some tabs here, and in the wells I put AK water gel. Maybe you see and are curious what are these weird things on the roofs, like here and here. I just take brown paint and did these squares to sort of simulate these roof entrances of many of these Abu buildings in the Middle East. So let's take a look at some details. You can see on the details that it's just really just PLA 3D printed buildings, and there's some slapped colors on him. But of course, from the, say, gaming distance, you can't see anything. On the, we could say, POV of the miniatures, you see that the details are not, to be honest, so perfect, but after all, it's just 6mm, and that's more about the overall look than the individual buildings. I try to bring on so many of, would say, colorful buildings and many colors, because I'm sort of bored by this Hollywood style of Middle East where everything is just white or in beige and sandy colors and sort of, dull. But in reality, there are also many of these vibrant colors, so I decide to do them so it pop-ups more on the table. I try to do some quarters or compounds we're building it so they would look natural, or I try to look it natural. So there we have this big building with this garden. There is this, I would say, rather big compound, a small garden, and, well, another compound. There is just some sort of buildings, another larger compound, another one. As I said earlier, there are a couple of modern buildings, like this one, with air conditioning and some sort of rainwater tank. Also, there is another one. I still need to paint the ACs with colors. They are sort of workable. Also, as you can see, there are these 3 towers, and my idea was that they are towers from the old, I would say, city walls, town defense systems. So this is why they are in this shape. So they are imitating where the walls would be in the medieval time or sometime like. And this is also why there are these huge roads, and there is this main entrance to the city. I'm a little overthinking it, but I think it's a nice detail. So if we don't look at the compounds and the buildings, there is also a centerpiece, this mosque. I decided to do it in this just white color, so it's sort of shine by this whiteness, and the minaret and the cupola in this blue, so it's also sort of shine. And also there is this sort of small garden here. So this is how it looks with miniatures on. As both on the city and on my basing, I use the same AK past and the same Dune contrast paints. It sort of blends in, I would say, really great. And you could say that it really works together well. Oh, this is my, I would say, almost finished project for North African town, intended for World War II, but also for ancients or medieval, if I ever start 6mm medieval army. So tell me what you think about it, and if you enjoy it, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe for more. Hopefully, see you in the next one. Bye guys.